Hello, everybody. Welcome to FTC Podcast. And we have Seema Sahai today in our podcast. Welcome, Seema.
Thank you so much, Radha.
About Seema, she is a career and communications coach, power skills facilitator, executive presence trainer, author, and personality development and brand strategist. She is also a communications coach, academic corporate trainer, internationally certified train the trainer, and soft skills expert. She's also editor and author. Oh, well, a lot, Seema. I'm so glad to meet you today. She's over 28 years of experience in these diverse domains. And the beautiful thing that I knew about Seema is she's influenced over 60,000 people with her work. And that's a lot. And this is not only in India, this is also in abroad. Very glad to know you, Seema, and to have you on our podcast.
Thank you, Radha. And it's a pleasure to be here on the podcast. And thank you for the generous introduction. Yes.
Yes. Seema, you are a corporate facilitator and career coach, right? Do you
Yes.
always wanted to be part of this training industry?
Actually, frankly speaking, Radha, no. I do not have any recollection that I wanted to be a corporate trainer or a facilitator. In fact, I did not even know when I began my professional journey that these terms even existed. I was not aware of such an industry at that time, and probably that it did not exist also when I started my career path. So, but let me take you back a little. To the time when I was a child, Radha. So when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I was a very shy, very reticent child. So my parents, I would speak to my parents, I would speak to my immediate family circle, but outside that, I would just freeze, according to my mom. So once, when I was, as I said, 3 or 4 years old, my mom informed us, my brother and me, that we would be having guests for the evening. So we should go out and we should meet them when they came. So that was there. When the guests arrived, my mother called out to my brother, who was older than me, and he was very cool, very carefree, and he coolly sauntered in. He met the guests, he chatted with them, and then she called out to me. And there was no response. So she came inside, she looked for me, and she could not find me anywhere in the house. She kept calling, but I mean, there was no sign of me at all. So she went outside the house and she thought maybe I was playing outside. However, I was not there at all. So then she started getting a little worried and she came inside. She came to the bedroom and on a thought, she just peeped under the bed. And there I was, fast asleep in that heat under the bed. And I was totally oblivious to the world. So she understood. She gently pulled me out and she said, "You don't have to meet the guests. You just be here. If you don't want to go out and meet them, or if you want to go out and play, you can do that." So this was, the kind of a person I was as a child, very, very shy, very hesitant, very reluctant to meet any strangers, any people whom I did not know. So, later on, of course, I joined school and there, I started opening up. I started making friends. But thanks to my teachers, whose patience, whose motivation, whose encouragement made my personality to blossom up a little throughout the school years. And thanks to my parents again, I was not such a shy and reticent person, in the later years of my school. So this is the kind of a person I was. And from there to now, it's been a long journey. Yes.
Knowing this part of you and this side of you, Seema, this is making me more curious. As a follow-up, I have a question. Uh, I think there is one more element that played an important role, which I'm actually observing from the behaviors of your teachers and parents. That's the psychological safety. And I think
Yes.
that is
Yes.
what right now you're also using in coaching and facilitation.
Oh, yes, that is very important, isn't it? And this comes, I think, naturally to all of us as facilitators, as coaches. We create these safe spaces. And if you do not create a safe space for your participant or your client, how are they going to even open up to you and listen to you? So it is very important that we do that. And my parents, of course, I'll be very, very thankful to them and all the mentors throughout my school, my college, and my teaching journey, and even otherwise after that, in my career, I have been very lucky to have very good mentors, and they have really created that safe space, as you have said. So that has also helped me a lot. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. So this is actually leading to our next question, which is like you have 28 years of experience and coming from a quiet background to a background where you have to speak, you have to talk, and you have
Yes.
impacted 60 to 70 people. Now tell me a
Yeah.
little more about this training and facilitation journey.
Yes, so I work in the domain of career skills and behavioral skills. And more specifically, I am a communications and influence coach. So, in that capacity, I help professionals scale their careers through power skills. And that through these power skills, they build their leadership and presence at work. So, in short, this is my role as a facilitator. Now, when I say power skills, they can include a host of capabilities. For example, how to develop your executive presence, your gravitas, your personal brand, all these things. And also how to persuade, how to influence, and how to negotiate with your conversation. So, impactful conversations is at the heart of power skills. Another thing is, of course, how to ace your interviews and your resumes. So that again, I feel rather that it's very important. That skill is very important because this is apt and this is applicable not just for job aspirants, but for professionals at any stage of their career. No matter if they are a young professional, a mid-career, or even a senior leader, everybody needs to have very good interviewing skills because they might be transitioning into other roles, they might be going into other industries, or interviews are always required. Similarly, you should know how to craft a very compelling resume for yourself. That also is required. So this is another power skill. Apart from that, of course, there is those skills of time management and stress management. So the host of skills which include those behavioral skills are there. And of course, all those functional career skills, I would say, all those career skills that will elevate your career to the next level. So this is what I teach them. This is what I deal with basically, and that is why I don't call them soft skills. I call them power skills because they are really very powerful. And I have actively facilitated sessions on all these topics in corporates as well as in institutions. And that is why through these 28 years, I have impacted so many people. 60 to 70 would be a conservative estimate, maybe even more than that. So this has been my journey in short. Yes.
I completely agree that these are definitely power skills, and I completely agree with one more point. Seema have been working with corporate and as well as I worked also for NGO where I work with closely with teen students,
Okay.
female students, where
Right.
they lack. I always feel that we are training teenagers or somebody who is looking for first time jobs mostly on these skills of interviewing and all. And but
Yes.
I
Yes.
also feel most of them, if somewhere around 10 or 50 applications are going to any recruiter, only one is getting selected. And
Mm.
trust me, it is not only because of the resume, maybe it is also because they are unable to crack the interview in the way
Yes.
it has to be.
Yes.
So whatever
Yes.
you're saying is actually very apt and aligned with
Yeah.
the current industry
Yes.
needs.
Yes, yes. Because you can't just mug up certain questions and go and say over there, right? Interviewing skills
Yes.
is a whole, different ball game where you should know what is first of all your role, what is your industry, and how do you present yourself. There are so many nuances to interviewing, which a person should know. And every stage for a job aspirant, it'll be different. For a mid-career professional who is more experienced, that will be different, and similarly for the senior person. So yes, at every stage these skills vary, and we should be aware of that. Very correct, Radha. I totally agree with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So, looking at all these things that you have been doing, how long have you been in corporate and soft skills facilitator?
Well, I have been in the industry for 8 to 10 years, but again, let me tell you a little bit about my where it all began. So, when I completed my graduation in English from Lady Shri Ram College in Delhi, I went on to do my master's and MPhil in English itself, and then, as expected, as is the norm, I joined the academia. So this was in Mumbai, Mumbai University, Somani College in Mumbai is where I started my academic career. And after that, I taught in various colleges and universities across India. But the turning point came when I went to Patna and I joined Patna Women's College. So there, the principal, she said, of course, I can take you as an English faculty, but what I really want you to do is I want you to head the Department of Mass Communication and Journalism. So I was totally taken aback because I had no idea about mass communication. I'd never taught that. I'd always taught English. So she said, no, I mean, I see certain qualities in you, and that is why I want you to head that department. So go ahead, give it a shot. So I took up the challenge and I joined as the head over there. And simultaneously, I also enrolled for my PG in mass com and journalism. So these things went on together, and I had a very, very fruitful time. 3 years I spent in Patna Women's College, and had it not been for her, I would still be, teaching English. So this was a change that happened. And later on, I went to Banaras. I taught in BHU, and there also I was invited to join the faculty of mass communication. And after Banaras, I came back to Delhi, and here then I was the editor of a magazine, a monthly magazine called Indian Dairyman. So now I had experience of both the academia as well as the industry as an editor, as the of the industry as well. And all these opportunities, they wouldn't have happened had I just been, an English faculty, and I would not have seized the opportunity that was given to me. So later on, I did my certification in soft skills, and of course, now I'm an author also. So you see, my career has followed various trajectories. It has not been a linear progression, and but I'm very thankful that I have been given these opportunities, and I feel blessed that I could perform to the optimum in these various roles that I have been offered. So I really believe in that philosophy, Radha, of carpe diem, which is seize the moment or seize the day. And here it is like seizing the opportunities that come your way. Because, once you say no to opportunities, then somehow or the other, I feel you have lost the half the race. So this is what I felt. And I'm glad that I accepted those challenges. And I'm here.
I'm actually glad that your principal gave you an opportunity to look beyond your skills, and
Yes,
you
yes.
also accepted it. It
Yeah.
is very rare to get to know that kind of people. Wanted to appreciate this moment and give this
Yeah.
special moment to her, and that brings to us to this for your book recently.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
became Amazon bestseller author, Seema. Congratulations
Yes.
on that. And
Thank you,
how
Radha.
does
And
that?
I think you also have written a book recently. We'll
Yes,
talk
we will
about
talk
that
about
also.
it.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah. How does it
Yes.
feel, and how did it happen?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So my book was published. Now, incidentally, this is my fifth book. It's not my first book. And this was published just last month in May 2026. And to my amazement and to my delight, within 2 days of it getting published, it was an Amazon bestseller. So that was something that was unprecedented. It had never happened with me earlier also. So yes, that was my book. It is a Kindle book. It is available on Amazon. And in this book, my protagonist is called Raghav, and he's a very hardworking, very diligent, very efficient. He's a corporate professional. And yes, he is very hardworking. He is an expert in his domain, and he is what you would call a Mr. Dependable. So, in office, all his co-workers, his subordinates, his manager, everybody depends on him. Now, unfortunately, Raghav, stays in the delusional world in the sense that he thinks that my work will speak for itself. Now, little does he realize that in the corporate or in any profession, this does not happen. So, if you have value, but if you do not have visibility, that is a complete zero. You will not go to the next level if you do not have that kind of visibility. And this is what my book talks about, that how the credit that is due to Raghav was never given to him until and unless he worked on his executive presence. And executive presence is a host of things, various things, not just visibility, but so many other things. How you are confident in yourself, how you can lead your team, how you have empathy towards people around you, how, of course, you're visible not just to your immediate manager, but also to the decision makers and to all the other stakeholders in the corporate world, in your industry, at least in your workplace. So these are the things that I talk about in that book. And I'm so glad because, in these days, nowadays, people think that let me just work hard and I will be rewarded. But that doesn't happen and they get so disappointed. So I always say that, when you are still in college, you should try and develop these qualities in yourself and not just wait to get to a certain level and then do so. So this should be an ongoing effort, and this is what my book talks about.
This is reminding me of the programs that you have covered earlier, that about the power skills and all. As a
Yeah.
facilitator, what are some other signature programs that we do?
Yes, I have signature programs. For example, of course, when I began my journey, there were a lot of campus to corporate programs that I have done. There is Communication for Impact. Then there is Future Ready. That is the name of my second book. I mean, not the name is Future Perfect, but that is what I deal with in my book, which is how to be future ready for leaders, and the Gravitas Edge for leaders again. So all these things, they constitute certain modules for me, which I teach in corporates and also in the academia, in institutes. Then another program is Career Catalyst, mastering appraisals, feedback, and difficult conversations. Again, that is something which is so popular and it is so much required, isn't it? So
Must and
yeah.
need.
Yes,
Most of the
you as an L&D professional, who would be knowing better than this? So yes, that is required. So these are some of the programs that I undertake, and both in corporates, it could be a group or it could be one-to-one coaching and mentoring, or online and as well as offline. All. Yes.
Fantastic. And now it comes to the most exciting session of this podcast. Seema, you're ready?
Can I also talk about my other books briefly, if you don't mind, Radha?
Yeah, we can. Definitely. We would love to, please.
Okay. So, apart from this book, as I said, this is my fifth book, and this is my third solo book. I have two other books which are co-authored. So, my
Oh,
first book, yeah. So, my first book is called Secure Scale Skyrocket, and that was published in 2021. And here, the book is divided into three sections: Secure, which is for the people who have just joined in, who have just entered the professional arena for job, first time, professionals. And then Scale, which is for mid career level professionals. And then Skyrocket is for the leadership. So that is my first book. My second is Future Perfect. Again, in this age of disruptions, I talk about how you should have a mindset for always evolving yourself, always reinventing yourself, with reskilling yourself, always upgrading yourself. So basically, that is about the second book. And then third, of course, is my Executive Presence, which I just talked about. Now, my two other co-authored books is one is Empower Your Growth, in which I talk about time management, right? And there I burst that myth that it is not time that we are managing, it is actually our energies that we have to manage. And that was my, yeah, that is the co-authored book. And the last one is, of course, 75 top-notch management activities, which is for all of us, as trainers and facilitators, it is a lot of activities, a lot of energizers, a lot of icebreakers, games, to keep the participants engaged and drive value. So these are my books.
okay. My next
Yeah.
step is to go to Kindle and first for Seema Sahai.
Please do that.
Yes,
I would love
I'll
it.
do.
I mean, if you can just read any of those books and give me your feedback. Yes, Radha.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, again, I'm coming back to my rapid fire round for which I'm
Sure,
putting you
sure.
on this hot seat. I'll be
Okay.
asking you a series of questions, and you will get total of 60 seconds to answer them.
Sure.
That's amazing, Seema. We're right now starting a rapid fire round, and for which I'm putting you on this hot seat.
Oh, I'm so
Uh,
excited.
Me too. I'll be asking
Yes.
you a series of questions, and you will get 60 seconds to answer them. So you're
Sure.
ready, right?
Yeah, of course. Bring it on. Yes.
Okay. Number one, would you rather be a trainer or a facilitator?
A facilitator, because a facilitator is an enabler of participants, whereas a trainer is just a giver of knowledge.
Okay. So you're a trainer and a facilitator, right? What
Yes.
made you become an author?
Uh-huh. You see, I became an author to have the authority. It creates authority in your expertise. So that is one reason. Another reason is, of course, to leave a legacy.
Okay. My next question is this is relating again to your childhood, and let me give you
Okay.
that memories back. Are you
Yeah.
an introvert or an extrovert?
See, Radha, I was an introvert, definitely. And I think in some manners, I'm still an introvert. But for my sessions, I become an extrovert, as facilitators need to be. So I would say that I'm an ambivert, both an introvert as well as an extrovert. Yes.
Okay. Since we're talking about books, being author, what is your favorite book? Which one is your
My
favorite?
all-time favorite book is, Radha, you must have also read it. It is Who Moved My Cheese? And it is a very
Oh,
short book. Yeah, 95 pages long. And it is written by Dr. Spencer Johnson. And it is very insightful, very inspirational. And it talks about how we should keep changing with the times and not be complacent. So it talks about how to grow and how to develop and not be comfortable in your, in your cocoon. Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So my next two questions, since we are on FTC podcast, are on FTC.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what one specific thing you love about FTC cohort?
Oh, I love meeting all the various trainers. I love the mentors over here. They are a class apart. I mean, I wish I could talk more about all this, but since you have put me in the hot seat, I cannot. There is this limitation of time, yes. But I love being there. And that is how I met you also, Radha. So,
Amazing. Yes, yes,
yes.
yes. Okay.
Okay.
Coming to my final question, what is that one or two changes you have noticed in your facilitation or your team building or collaborating with the collective that we are right now in? Anything that is related, but did you
Yes.
notice any change? What are those?
Yes, definitely. Earlier when I used to go for my sessions, I was more of a content oriented person in the sense that I would create my slides. I would be very detail oriented about the content. Okay, this is what I have to do in the next 4 hours. And I would give. So I was more into the training mode. However, with this collective, I have realized, and with all the lessons that I have learned over here, that you should be more of a facilitator in the sense you should enable the participants to arrive at their own answers. So, this is the biggest thing that has happened as a member of this collective. Yes.
Okay, for me, meeting you all and getting to speak on this podcast, this is something really interesting to me.
Oh, yes,
And
definitely, definitely. And you create ties for life, because you have so many shared abilities, you have so many shared concerns that you create these everlasting ties. Yes.
this is a wonderful conversation that I had in recently, Seema.
Yeah,
And let us stay in touch, get to know each other more, and let us bring in more changes that we are learning from FTC. Signing
definitely.
off, guys. Okay, please, Seema, your
Okay,
last.
thank you so much. And my last message would be continuous learning all the time, continuous upgradation, because in this age of different, disruptions with AI coming in, one has to be a different person. So in this age of disruptions, be the differentiator. With this again, thank you so much, Radha, for calling me, for hosting me in this podcast.
Thank you, Seema, for wonderful responses. And we learned a little bit more about your books as well. I'm definitely going
Yes.
back to the Kindle and
Yeah.
getting to know about your books as well.
Yeah.
And it's me, Radha Gayatri, signing off from the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you.